Hello students. So this is our third video under animal tissue and this is the last video. We have done epithelial tissue and connective tissue. The last two tissues, muscular tissue and nervous tissue. We will take them today. So all of us know a special characteristics of animals is that they can move from one place to another. They have a characteristic for locomotion. So this movement, it makes them different from the plants. Plants cannot move, they are stationary, but all the animals, they can go from one place to another. For this movement, or for this locomotion, these two tissues, muscular and nervous tissue, they work in combination. They coordinate with each other and an animal can move. The nervous system or the nervous tissue, it puts the stimuli, transfers this stimuli to the nerve, to the muscles, and muscles come into action and the animal or an individual can move. So these two together, they are important for locomotion in animal. They work coordinating with each other. So we will take one by one. This is all about the muscular tissue. We have muscles in our body, all of you know. And the muscle cell, a single muscle cell is known as muscle fiber. And why it is known as muscle fiber? Because the cells are elongated. They are long, so it is known as muscle fiber. In this diagram, you can see the hierarchy of muscle fiber. At the bottom, this is muscle fiber. This is the muscle fiber of skeletal muscle. This muscle, the first muscle, and this fiber resembles something like this, cylindrical with nucleus. So this is the muscle fiber. At the bottom, this is muscle fiber. This muscle fiber is present in muscle fascicle. This structure is muscle fascicle, and many muscle fiber bundles are present in this muscle fascicle. This red one is muscle fascicle and these are the bundles of muscle fibers, and this is one muscle fiber. And the bundle of these fascicles, they form a muscle which we have in our body. This is the muscle, this is bone, and this is tendon. All of you know that this tendon, it attaches muscle to, this is connective tissue, so like ligament, but it is tendon. It connects muscle to the bone. So this is a complete muscle we have in our body, in our arms, everywhere in our body. So this is muscle number 4, and muscle have muscle fascicles, and this muscle fascicle has bundle of muscle fibers, and this is bundle, it has many single muscle fiber. So this is how the muscles are formed or joined. Now we have 3 types of muscles in our body. This is number 1, the skeletal muscle. This is number 2, smooth muscle, and this is the cardiac muscle. We will take one by one. The first one is skeletal muscle. Why it is known as skeletal? Because mostly it is joined with skeleton of the body. That's why it is like here. So this is the skeletal muscle. It is known as skeletal muscle. The other features you can see, it is cylindrical, then long cell, and many nuclei are present in a single cell. That it is multinucleated. Then what are these lines? These are known as striations. Striations means bands. So these bands, dark and light bands are present. We can see dark and light under microscope when they are stained properly by a proper stain. So light and dark stains, bands known as striation are seen here. So these are also known as striated muscles or skeletal muscles, or one more name, voluntary muscles. What is the meaning of voluntary? Voluntary mean we can move these muscles at our will. If you want to move my hand, I can move. If I don't move my hand. So at our will, if we can move our muscles, these are voluntary muscles. So where should they be present? They should be present in the forearms or hind arms, or mostly where we want to move the muscles at our will. So these are voluntary muscles. This is the diagram of hand. This is elbow. So in hand they are present, in legs they are present, and others also they are present where we want to move our body organ. So this is about these voluntary muscles. Now the second type of muscles, they are known as smooth muscles. Now see their structure. These are long and cylindrical, having many nucleus. This is spindle form, or you can say fusiform, pointed on both the ends, but they are also long elongated. That's why they are known as muscle fibers. So long elongated cells which are spindle shaped, they are present together to form a muscle. These cells, these muscle fibers, they are involuntary. Involuntary means we cannot move them at their will. They work by their own. So they should be present in internal organs where the movement is not under our control. So they are present in digestive system, they are present in respiratory system, they are present in blood vessels, and they are present in the iris of our eye. Even they are present in ureter. Ureter, you know, from where the urine is passed from kidney to the urinary bladder. So here we cannot stop them. If we stop them, we cannot breathe. If we stop them, the food will be stuck somewhere in the digestive system. So from the esophagus up to the rectum, the food, it goes by itself without our permission, without our will, without our control. The food comes from mouth up to the rectum by the help of these involuntary muscles. They are present in blood vessels so that the relaxation and contraction of muscle is there and blood can flow. In the iris of our eye, we don't have, if we go from a dark room to the light or vice versa, then our iris expand or contract by itself without our control, without our permission. So these are involuntary muscles. Now the next type of muscle, they are cardiac muscles. They are cardiac muscles, as the name indicate. These are present in heart. One more thing about this, they have a single nucleus or uninucleate. This is multinucleate, this is uninucleate, these are also uninucleate. So present in heart, that's why they are known as cardiac muscles. They relax and contract involuntarily, and the heart functions by relaxation and contraction, and blood comes and goes out of the heart due to the presence of these muscles. These muscles also show striation or bands like this, but a special quality of these muscles, they are branched. Each muscle, each cell, it is branched, but one cell has only one nucleus or uninucleate. So these are different muscles which function together to perform all the life processes. They have special proteins known as contractile proteins. By the contraction and expansion and by changing the structure of the proteins, these different muscles, they function, and an animal can function and perform all its life activities with the help of these muscles. So this is about the muscular system in animals. Now the second system which is left is nervous system. All of you know that human being, it is highly evolved at the top of the hierarchy of evolution. So we have the power of thinking, power of analyzing, power of thought. We have such power which no other animals have. So how we are getting all this power? We have nervous system, and this nervous system mainly has three parts. One is brain inside the skull, second is spinal cord inside the vertebral column, and third are nerves which spread throughout the body. So these three parts of nervous system, they make us at the top of the evolution. How these work together and what is the basic unit of nervous system? The basic unit of nervous system is known as nerve cell or neuron. So this is neuron. The structure of neuron, this is the basic unit of nervous system. Brain, spinal cord and all the nerves, they are made by this nerve cell or neuron. These neurons, they are of three types: sensory neurons, motor neurons and relay neurons. In detail you will study in 10th class. So this is a structure of single neuron. What are different parts? This is cell body. This is known as cell body. It is having this nucleus and cytoplasm, and these are projections, hair-like projections. These are known as dendrites. Then this is the long dendrite, the longest dendrite, and this is known as axon. The longest, it is known as axon. Now these bead-shaped structures, these are the internal, this inner one is Schwann cell. This is known as Schwann cell. These, the nodes, this node is known as node of Ranvier. This is axon, and this, the covering of this axon, it is known as myelin sheath. It is covered by this sheath, myelin sheath. So this is the structure of axon, and it also branched into finger-like or hair-like projections, and these are the terminal axon or the nerve endings or terminal part of axon. So this is the structure of neuron or nerve cell. How these neurons or nerve cell, they function? They take stimulus at dendrites. From where? From our sensory organs. The 5 sensory organs we have. So from the atmosphere or the environment or the sensory organs, the stimulus is taken by these dendrites. Then it travels in the form of electrical impulse throughout the body of the neuron and comes to terminal part of the axon. From here, this impulse, it is given to the cell body of the other neuron with these dendrites. And in this way, from one neuron to the next, the impulse travels to all the body, to all the organs or necessary organs to the body. From if we touch a heated plate, then this stimulus, it goes at once by these neurons to our brain that we have touched a heated plate. In this way, in a fraction of a second, this impulse, it goes in the form of electrical impulses. This stimulus in the form of impulses go to each and every part of the body. In this way, this nervous system works. You will study in detail in the next class. One more thing about the size of these neurons. This is single cell, and you know cells are microscopic. We cannot see by naked eye, and on the slide or under microscope we can see a cell, as you have seen some cells in plants and animals. But this cell is the longest cell in human body, from the base of the spine up to the toe of the foot. About 1 meter long single nerve cell is present in our body, and this nerve cell is of sciatica nerve, which extends from the base of the spine up to the toe of the foot. Though the length is so much, but its diameter is few microns. So it is very thin, but length is about 1 meter. Some other neurons are also very long, about 2 feet, 3 feet, which carry stimulus from the hands up to the brain. So they are also very long, though they are very, very thin. So this is about the size of the neuron. With these two, what are these? Animal tissues, this lesson is completed, and now we will take the next one. So thank you. Take care.